Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. I'm Nathaniel, joined by InControl, and we are unbelievably excited for this Terran versus Protoss because nothing is better than StarCraft 2. God, do you agree, Jeff?
That's true.
That is
StarCraft is the best game ever made.
That's right. We are here. We are doing WCS Challenger for spring, which is coming up in May. And for those of you, we're just going to quickly go over everything again in case you forgot everything about this tournament in the last hour and a half since we've not been having PVZs on year zero for the entirety of today's show. People qualified. We have our group stage, feeds into a playoff bracket, and a winner is crowned a champion of each region, the regions being Europe and Americas, a.k.a. the rest of the world that's not Korea. With that being said, of course, there is money on the line. $1,600 for first place and some WCS points. Very importantly, of course, talking about stuff like seeding and whatnot for the actual WCS spring event. But, yeah. And, of course, we're going to be running this over the course of the next few weekends for Challenger. So we've got this weekend, next weekend, and the weekend after that. We don't run out of them. You've got everything lined up perfectly so that you can just consume StarCraft nonstop until the heat death of the universe. So here are the groups. Again, in case you missed them, we had Group A yesterday, and today we are on Group B.
What's the next group after B?
C. C actually comes after
What comes
B.
after C?
D.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Amazing. Amazing gaming here.
Wow.
And, well, the ZVZ group is over. Oh, by the way, yeah, we got a match. It's starting. Terran versus Protoss time. Get out your salt shakers. You Terran boys in the chat. It is time. On the right side of Automaton, we have the red Protoss player. He is ShoWTimE.
And it is with great esteem and pleasure that I introduce on the bottom left side the French Terran MarineLord. His name is, of course, Alexis
Eusebio? Alexis Eusebio.
Alexis Eusebio. You pronounce it with that filthy American tongue. It makes me sick.
It is with great disgust.
But not sick like S-I-K-H. It's like sick as in gross sick, like a puke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Pretty spot on. But my favorite part about that whole line is you and I just guaranteed ourselves 4 to 5 comments on Team Liquid about how we don't talk about the games. They're like, you know what? One of my favorite things about Tastosis, guess what they don't do, Nate? Ever not talk about StarCraft. They're always constantly analyzing. And these WCS commentators with their jokes? You gonna make fun of my French accent now? Disrespectful.
They don't call us budget-tosis for nothing in control.
Yeah.
They don't call us budget-tosis for nothing.
Listen, I woke up at 5 a.m. and if the producer of WCS looked me in the eye and said, Jeff, I want 0 jokes out of you today, I would look them in the eye and be like, you got it.
There's no pile of cash big enough in the world to make Tasteless get out of bed at 5 in the morning.
No.
So, in my mind, we're actually superhuman.
He does his podcast at 9 p.m. after he's woken up, had his eggs and bacon at 7 p.m. And then after the podcast, he goes back to the bar where he commentates GSL.
Good life. Good life.
It is a Stargate opener here, by the way, from ShoWTimE.
Yes.
And it's in base, but both these players had something pretty cheeky for each other, and it's right next to each other.
Yeah.
This is when I love this. Their buildings can almost see each other. Literally. And he's going to float that, by the way. That's that positioning.
Yeah,
he wants to land that in the base.
It's like a QXC factory.
Yep. And it's going to actually float.
Oh, my God.
And he's going to be like, wait a second.
I'm looking at his vision. He landed it. It's meant to go right onto it.
But you know what?
This building
the warping in Stargate, guess what it don't have, Nate?
It doesn't have vision.
Not that much. Didn't see it.
He doesn't know.
He's going to not get in the base, by the way, but it's okay. Well, actually, that's not okay, but he already scouts with the factory. Now, things change here a little bit. No, actually, it doesn't. He's just going to keep proxying everything. Cool. Cool. But actually, scouting the Stargate's a big deal, because now the Oracles can do zip, zilch, and nada. And the Widowmine drop Oh my god.
Oh,
Everything
come
about
on.
the two of them. It's all so good. Go ahead and make your starship.
Build it. Do it.
Are we going to get the Maru stuff, which is going to be all the rage, by the way, where you have an empty medevac because there's Widow Mines waiting, and they're like, oh no, don't chase me. Not like this. Don't do that.
Oh, I was just trying to get my medevac over here, man. Don't kill it.
By the way, take the Widow Mine. Just go. Now that there's two. Oh, wait. That's the trap.
Ooh, that's
That's the trap.
It's a trap.
He's going to try to range it, though. He's like,
He's just
"Can
going
I
to
get-"
rally it over there.
What's a Viking? That's even worse.
Oh. You going to land it?
This is ShoWTimE we're talking about here, man.
Yeah,
He's not going to...
He doesn't make
It's not going to
mistakes.
fall for your trick.
He doesn't make mistakes.
Actually,
man.
you could bait out one. Take the non-shot one. It's too risky, though. Now there's multiple Widow Mines.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Just settle for the fact that you literally have all of his production sitting just below your main base. Like, that is... There's
And
no
you
reason to
can't
dive on
really
that.
Do anything, yeah.
Yeah. It'd be like, you've already exposed yourself.
Yeah. He's got 4 Phoenix out right now. So there's
Oh
no
my
universe. Oh, yeah. Now he's on top of it.
The timing. He had to
Cancels it, restarts it. He's like, no, man, I'm building a battlecruiser with no tech lab. That's why it's taking so long.
MarineLord could even almost GG right now. Obviously, it's a winter match, and they're looking at who's going to fight Raynor, so you don't do that.
I would have liked to see him try and, like, in that brief moment when the Phoenix were gone, just remove all the mines to the starport. Have 10 trillion IQ in control.
10 trillion IQ?
Yeah.
I don't think so. That kind of IQ is not measurable.
No, you're right. It would probably actually fry a mortal brain if you could be that smart. I don't know why I would suggest such a thing.
I think it's, God, is it seconds or minutes? I think it's minutes. 1 million minutes is like a week. 1 billion minutes is like 37 years.
Nice.
Think about that. So when you say 10 trillion, I almost have to like slap you just out of the disrespect for just numbers that is. Like,
I'm a bad boy in control. I don't respect numbers.
that's a, yeah. My grandfather's rolling in his grave. He's like, he doesn't know. He's a nuclear physicist. Isn't that amazing? And then look how far this apple fell from the tree.
That is really cool.
But
Yeah.
Grandpa, I talk video games.
He actually just keeps starting and restarting that medevac too. Just give it up.
Yeah, well, he has. He's just hoping ShoWTimE keeps 5 Phoenix over it forever, I guess.
Please don't come kill my SCVs. I haven't a snary missile turret.
Nary. Well played. He actually did not make a missile turret, to be fair, to your point. There's a lot of Marines out, though, and it's pure Marines. Third base already up for ShoWTimE, so that's good. And now Colossus coming out. Guess what's pretty good against pure Marines?
Colossus in control?
Yeah. Well, now he's making 1 Marauder at a time.
Wow.
But it's going to be like 1 Marauder for every 30 Marines.
Oh my god, the longest con of all time. The Widowmine gets over to the middle run. It's going to be able to burrow and... Oh. It's going to burrow and... No. Okay, well. That was a lot of build-up at the start of this game.
It's going to burrow it! And it's dead.
No.
I do like MarineLord's bounce back in both series. We've seen him like kind of fall way behind for one reason or another, with one of the games at least. And he just kind of has a way of making it look pretty good, right? Like this game is still behind 12 workers. So right now, if you haven't watched this series, the Muslim will be doing replay analysis of this game specifically on Monday.
Specifically of the SCV versus probe count difference.
Notice how with the Chrono Boost, yes, there was proxies, but even with the proxies, the Protoss has the economy of 4 bases. What's the Terran to do? It's just not very fun. It's more fun when the Terran wins.
You'll find many people agreeing with you in chat with that, I am sure. That command center takes a bit of a beating.
I just think that you should
Oh my
be
god,
able
is he gonna...
Yeah, just run like 25 Marines without a medevac and just probably win.
And why shouldn't I be able to just stim my whole entire army with no medevacs into a Colossus when I have just Marines?
Now
which are
wait,
particularly
pause.
weak?
I have to stim to run back home.
And how is that fair when my opponent can just click on his army and
This is-
open the Bifrost
yeah.
to bring his back?
He says, beam me up. It's literally not fair. Now when medevacs come out,
4th base too. I don't
He
even
found
have
it
my
again.
third saturated.
it's like, what do I have to do to have a starport in my base? Build it in there? I don't want to. Does he have no starport? He has to, right?
Yeah.
That's a bad pickup. Yeah, okay.
That starport was a scouting starport. New meta.
This starport is like the skeleton of a starport. It's like what they found to be like, this is his original idea.
Yeah. Well, it's like when they found the bones of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, well, something was here. We don't have an accurate reconstruction of it, but we think we're pretty close.
Yeah.
Although that changes, you know, year to year as well.
Yeah. If a starport dies and no one's watching, does it actually die?
I do think it shows up in resources lost. So,
Okay. So yes. You'd say yes.
Yes, that is my official answer.
4th Colossus coming out, by the way. 3 is the Legacy of the Void number. 4 is pushing Heart of the Swarm. If he gets to 8, we're right back in Wings of Liberty.
Yeah.
And someone has to tell ShoWTimE that that's not
like,
where we're at.
It's like pre-Tempest PvP, right? Back in the day.
I don't...
Where the only thing that could make you lose with Colossus.
Look how clever this is from MarineLord. He's doing a medevac drop. Is that sick?
Yeah. But you can see the Protoss' units. He can't just get in there.
I bet he recoils over here. No, he doesn't have to. He's got to warp in the filthy Protoss.
Ugh. He can build his units instantly, and I can't.
Imagine having a barracks everywhere your pylon is.
Imagine if I could just build Marines at any supply depot that I own.
Yeah.
So he's getting another starport and a fusion core. So, Liberators with range are coming up next.
Just in time for blank. Pretty good game from Mr.
It's
ShoWTimE.
like, oh yes, this drop only has 2 Marines. I am not scared of 2 Marines.
I like how that Phoenix is like, what about, guys, I picked up a Marine over here. And you're just going to give up on that medevac?
Oh, is he going to try and jump on that Colossus? Or he's going for the 4th?
Oh my god.
He's going for the
You got
probes.
3 Marauders, but what you lost hit the Nexus. And then he picks up with 1 medevac worth of units. No, he's like, those are stalkers, mate. You can't fight me here. I'd call this a base trade, but it's not, right? Like the army that's pushing ShoWTimE is not much of an army. He has no answer for the Colossus, though.
Nope. He's got a decent amount of Marauders, but there's plenty of Zealots to get up front. 3 Colossi is a lot.
God.
Yep, the army on the other side of the map is DED. He goes up the ramp so that he can be force-fielded out of his base.
Well, there's no other answer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he takes that fight, the 3 Colossus vaporize him. There's also a bunch of sentries to make sure that they never get to the Colossus.
He is going for the trade of the bases, and I guess he's going to take the Liberators that are about to finish and just try to cut off the ramp.
Planetary, though. Yeah, that's his best play. I mean, like we said, he can't fight this army. He's got Liberators coming out. That's okay. They can hold the ramp like Nate just said, but that's about it. Going up that ramp is too expensive. If ShoWTimE tries to force himself up there, especially, I think actually Blink finished for him.
This is, man, we did go back in time. We did go back in time for...
But the big fight's this army right here, and I think unfortunately ShoWTimE knows this is coming. He's got the Colossus there. So MarineLord is going to be asked to leave in a few moments.
The upgrades are pretty good for dealing with the Zealots, but yeah, the Colossus remains the big problem there. He's going to go over to that planetary, knock
Like
that down.
Oh, wow. Well, he is fighting a planetary fortress.
There's a lot of SCVs repairing. I think you got to get the Colossus to focus fire those SCVs.
Nope, he's just got to run away from that building. Fortunately for him, the planetary cannot chase him. It's not Warcraft 3.
Man.
It's not a night elf structure that gets up out of the ground and says, I'm going to have to do this myself.
That's the buff Terran needs in control. He'll
Planetary just gets up and chases
lift
you.
off planetary fortress, yeah.
Try to retreat from a planetary, runs you down. You're like, holy cow!
Yeah. Have you ever seen like the Stukov command center? It just has legs. It just gets up and walks over towards you with the cannons firing. That's
I heard that. It looks cool, though.
Stuff of nightmares.
But it is 169 supply to 104. MarineLord has a lot of army supply, but a lot of that's medevacs. The Liberators are cool, and there's not much of an answer for him. But there's also no economy for him right now. Oh, except for that planetary fortress. Do we do this? I mean, after the day of TLO, I believe in everything now. I'm like, he's super dead. But then I look at this, I'm like, but TLO was super dead. And yet he was able to win.
He won that game. What did he have? When that base trade happened, he only had
21 lings and 2 roaches.
Yep, and a Ravager. All right, goes for another hit on the planetary.
Wait a second.
Eats a bunch of hits.
Wait a second.
But it don't matter, no.
Well, he's down to 25 workers is MarineLord.
Yeah.
This is that part where we go, yeah, but he has like 4 orbitals, but he doesn't, so we can't.
Nope. Now this little hit squad's going to find itself some probes on the other side of the map, though.
Also, it's going to find a Colossus.
Yeah. Two Colossi.
When they introduce the Colossus, by the way, it walks out of the ocean. How horrifying is that? Literally.
Is that how it was introduced?
Yes. They say, hey, we found Colossus technology, and in the cinematic for the single player, it walks out of the ocean.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
And there's the Zealots in the main. Okay. And a Fleet Bacon. Liberator
It's only gonna get
range.
worse.
Liberator range finally started, but ShoWTimE is just like, he's got him pinned down. He's killing him. But he's like, "Would you please just die already?" And I think we should see MarineLord tap out soon, TM.
Yeah. Well, the game's just so painful at this stage, right? Like every battle he takes, he's outgunned. Every move that ShoWTimE makes is the right one. There's the Liberators trying to make a stand here, and that's going to be it.
GG.
ShoWTimE 1-0.
Takes first map very well. I mean, that game was just a big old fat mess from MarineLord. He builds the proxy, wants to land his factory literally on top of the Stargate. Able to pull it back, but the Phoenix immediately finds it.
Which makes me think maybe it did see it. Maybe it did have enough vision to see that factory. Went too far. Because the Phoenix going directly south of the Stargate.
Is it that crazy?
It's not that crazy. I mean, you would scout proxy there with the Phoenix, and maybe you're waiting for like additional Phoenix. You're just kind of like checking. That's also where a drop would show up.
Right.
At about that time. So
Yeah,
maybe that's what happened. And if that's the case, then you just have to give it up to, you know, Mr. ShoWTimE. It's just like he's just so good defensively. It does all the little things.
I feel like if a Terran is going to proxy you on that map, it's almost always in that spot. Like the starport will almost always be there. The factory can be a little bit random,
but there's also a lot of players that would not like the proxy that you saw from MarineLord is not that common right now. You're not seeing a whole lot of factory starport proxy right below the main. And especially what MarineLord was going for, by the way. He was going to literally drop the factory in there out of vision and walk Widow Mines into the mineral line. That's some crazy stuff. We don't see that, but ShoWTimE checks for those things. Wow.
Yeah, MarineLord in the MarineLord immediately gets to talking about this in the lobby for our next game. I can't read everything that he's saying, but he was saying there was something big taking my spot for my factory. And everyone says LOL. So you guys go, I'll peek inside the mind of a pro gamer.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because as we saw, it was literally exactly
he
the Stargate
cued
was.
it perfectly onto where the Stargate was. Yeah, MarineLord's a little bit, just teensy bit upset about that.
I mean, in a joking way.
In a joking way.
They're having a good time.
Yeah, it's jovial. It's a holiday. No one's getting angry at each other.
Well,
Cyber Forest is the next map.
not as much year 0 today.
Thank God.
Yesterday, guys, we joked a lot about it, but that was a almost 10-hour broadcast.
We had multiple 30-minute. We almost had an hour
two
game.
ones, a couple of 45-minuters. It was a long day.
Don't worry though. When we get to the Americas group today, we've got Ruff, and there is another Terran. So I'm expecting Ruff and Epic to have a Ruff Epic series. We're loaded in.
I just wish you would take this more serious, Nate. I can't.
And in the bottom right, we have the Red Protoss player leading 1-0. He is ShoWTimE.
Nate did not have his energy drink, by the way. He just drinks coffee. Or his dirt water, as he calls it.
I only drink coffee.
And still mostly in the top left-hand side, but not entirely. It's the blue Terran from France, MarineLord. Alexis
Alexis Eusebio. Oh, wait. If you read it in a roundabout sort of way, it almost looks like it says use bio.
Yeah. Oh, my God. It gets scouted immediately.
My man.
Like right off the bat. And he's actually, oh, my God. This is so bad.
Well,
He might just leave.
No.
He's going to lose both SCVs.
Well, he's not going to leave.
It's a low ground gateway. Literally, the Adept is going to be slamming into. I mean, where do you go from here? You just start the barracks back at home.
He did start that second barracks pretty fast back home, so it's not like crazy far behind, but yeah, that is painful.
And what Puck would do here, too, is actually send 4 probes across the map to go do battle.
Yeah, and then after he kills an SCV or 2 and the Reaper's about to pop out, recall the probes back. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Puck would transition into a Colossus or drop.
And then lose it and then actually lose the game. Not on ladder, though.
Not on ladder, though.
No, hey, Puck actually advanced yesterday, so that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, he did really well. Yeah.
I love Puck, but it is funny because he gets like really
so
flashy in these weird. His first PvP game was so, like, I want to talk to him about it because it was actually, and this is, I normally don't do this because it's, you know, they're infinitely better than me, but that was bad. It was just bad.
It seemed like he was
Disruptor, double Stargate, proxy expansion. I'm like, bro, slow it down. And then
funny.
he rocks his socks after that. He plays 2 standard games and just wins.
It's because you say it, and it's so true. Like some of these players that stream a ton, like if you tune into Puck's stream, the stuff that you're like, wow, why would you do this in WCS? Like he does it versus, you know, players that he hits at the top of Grandmaster ladder on NA or Europe, and he wins with it regularly. He's very good.
It's just one of those things that when it doesn't work, that's kind of the plight of the cheeser, which Puck is not. But every time, you know, pulls off a brilliant strategy, we're like, wow, that's incredible. When it gets scouted, and then he tries the next one, that gets scouted, and then he tries the third one, and that just gets defeated. It's like, you're so bad. It just looks terrible. But hey, Haz is like, you know, 6,300 on the Korean ladder. He's like quite good, actually.
Nice little delay.
Someone's like, he's not 6,300. He's 6,219, Jeff. Stop lying.
Well, if only these casters cared about the game, they'd know everything.
This is where it's so bad, by the way. He actually should kill the SCV an hour ago, but he does.
This is pain right
More
here.
SCVs will die. He's gonna kill like all the Marines, I guess, if he wants to.
This is the type of game you have before going to make a BattleNet forum post about TvP. You're like, why can't my command center just finish 20 seconds faster?
Single stalker and a scouting probe killed 40 of my units.
If I had opened up with a Marauder even, I would have still died.
He is down 9. It's not even over yet, too. Like, the Widowmine doesn't have to shut this down. He's going to give it to him, I guess.
Suffering doesn't.
Oh, he's got a probe here. He could bait it out if he wants to.
Oh, that's I'd imagine that's like, oh, look at that. He's building the pylon. He's already thinking about it. He's like, I'll just build some batteries outside your base. Get the robo. Oh, yeah, he's got Blink coming in.
Yeah, he's got everything.
Keep adding Stokers.
2 more gateways.
Starport has just begun.
It's also good to hang here because if maybe MarineLord's like, man, I'm so far behind, I'm just going to walk this Widowmine forward, try to get like a big hit. He's not. He's going up into his main. But basically, if an observer makes its way across the map,
There we go.
That's it.
You mentioned this already, and there it is. Beautifully done. SCVs immediately get pulled. He's got plenty of shields to let the stalkers soak. Move the one that's in the front back a little, I would say.
Oh, he's almost got Blink. He's just not going to... Don't lose a stalker or 2 just before that upgrade. Just wait for Blink, and now you can infinitely go up and down the ramp. It's a lot of Marines, and he doesn't have vision, but actually by the time he has Blink, there might even be an observer over here.
Yeah, look, he's going to sack the weak one. Oh,
well, wasn't
not
a
able
sack.
to.
It was, but why?
Yeah, I'm with you on this one now. Blink is done in like 15 seconds. Or, yeah, literally, there you go.
And right now, ShoWTimE's walking back home, and he's like, that's why I never attack. I don't like it.
I'll take a third instead.
I lost the whole stalker.
There is a tank that has finally come out.
Yeah.
And that is going a long way around to make
So MarineLord will be safe. Down 11 workers with a third already coming in. Blink's finished. Like, the only thing ShoWTimE's missing is Double Forge, which is probably coming up here fairly soon.
Yep, that'd be my guess.
And MarineLord is
Start charge.
probably going to do a 2-base timing attack, but by the time that comes out, we'll have a mining third, like 8 gateways.
Yeah, he's getting a tech lab on the Starport, which to me says that he's going for the Raven, which...
It's so late to go for that Raven.
Yeah.
And a Banshee would be somehow worse.
I do think that the Raven is key for Terran versus Protoss at the moment, but in this situation, it's not going to give you maybe the power that you need.
Well, his attack's not happening anyways. He's waiting for 3 or 4 tanks. So sure, get the Raven. It's really, really good. It's just that, keep in mind, he tried a proxy double racks. It got scouted. He canceled, and then he just went into a 1 racks expand. So you basically take a normal build, which Protoss is already pretty good against, and then you just say, well, what if I add 45 seconds to it? What if I just like really make it bad? And you're like, yeah, I guess that would be really bad against ShoWTimE.
Yeah, that Liberator dies for a Stalker. We got a lot of gates being added, an Immortal being added, +1 Alma.
I actually love that he's not double forged, because this game does get simplified where it is MarineLord has to do this attack. Like if he just tries to take a third, it's the easiest game in the world for ShoWTimE. He does anything, he takes a 4th, and then he goes to Storm. But it is, wow, actually it is going to be a third, excuse me. And double engineering bay. I don't know.
He is going
to
hole up for the long haul.
Yeah, it gets scouted though, right? Like the observer, I think, saw that. Can we get a look, Awesome Sauce? Did you see the 3rd orbital? No, I did not. Shout out to Awesome Sauce, by the way. Thank you for observing, my man.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen him, just look at Neeb and then picture someone about 4 inches taller. And
Yeah.
that is who he is.
Couple inches taller than Neeb. Yep.
The end. Kind of reminds me of one of the arcs in the X-Files. They eventually find people that just all look the same, and it's part of a government program to clone people that are immune to the alien virus.
Does that mean Neeb and our observer are like the key to
They
surviving
could be
the
from
apocalypse?
They could, yes. That's what I'm saying.
That's awesome. Thank God he's on our side.
Yeah. Well, we've said that about Neeb for a while, but now we know that there's an observer out there fighting the good fight as well.
All right. Warp Prism's coming in. Third base. This is it.
There it
Can
is.
MarineLord take this third? Whoa, did he just attack his own starport for a sec there? Okay. Cool. It's got the reactor on the factory. Love Widow Mines versus Zealots. But he's kind of, it seems like he's worried about the prism, right? He had some forces inside the main, just kind of waiting out. And with this base, when you're playing this situation, it can be really, really hard to get a setup that lets you block against Zealots as well, because they will spread so easily against all of this.
Yeah. And I love how systematic ShoWTimE is. He's like, oh, you're taking a third? Fine. Fourth, second forge, storm. All about to finish here. And like Nate just pointed out, that's all bad enough. But what's even worse, this attack's happening.
Oh, God. Yeah, no,
Those are Templar in there.
he's just going to die right now, right? Yeah, it's over. He's just super dead.
That was terrible, Templar.
Raven
It
dies.
just doesn't matter.
Drops one turret. Okay, tanks are going to be able to siege up, but this is still huge. Thought he was going to get on top of the army there.
He should have. He did a weird misclick or something with the Templar. Like he dropped them back there. This army unsieged with the Warp Prism dropping Storm just rickrolls it.
In my mind, I'm like, I think he could have just Lawler skated over him right there. Name move, but another big wave of Zealots going to get whooped in. And this is so much. The siege tanks, they do not have a good time against the Zealots.
No.
Just the way that charge works naturally spreads them out a lot when they start to fight. And there we go. Battle begins, and Stalkers are going to blink up in front of the Zealots, which is maybe one of the few ways that he can get through most of this. Actually, the Zealots are pumping up really hard.
This is like the worst way to do this fight, and it'll still be too good.
Yeah, this is the best case scenario for Hero Marine, or MarineLord.
It's going to get the orbital, actually.
He still gets the orbital.
Yeah.
GG.
It's one of those things where you get so far ahead that like ShoWTimE literally did just about as bad as you possibly can with that attack.
That attack almost could not have gone worse.
No. You could literally just he could be like, Grandmama takes the game, and she's like, oh, I've never played StarCraft, and she's just like moving
All you have to do is just press the A button and click here.
It says here the Templar have a storm ability. He's like, Grandmama, put that over some Marines, and she's like, okay, click, and like it was just good enough.
Grandma picked up the game faster than most of the people watching. Congratulations. Well done, ShoWTimE. Getting the 2-0 here in the winner's match. And that means that MarineLord is going to have a rematch. That, I think, is...
If he beats it twice in one day, whoa!
I don't see it, but this is the fight. All the Zealots do manage to perfectly clump up those tanks.
Blinks the Stalkers in front of the Zealots.
Suicide forward into everything. The Storm hits about 4 Marines.
Yeah. Then he picks up the rest. Like he does 1 storm out of 5 that he has available, or 6 or so.
Yeah. And then at some point, ShoWTimE's like, oh yes, just right-click on the command center.
This is Grandmama.
Oh yes, right, Grandmama. I don't have a German grandma voice. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'll work on that one. We'll see if we can budget it in for WCS summer, maybe.
Well done.
Well done.
He advances. Nice showing from ShoWTimE. That's the other side of this, right? We look at this group and we say, Raynor for sure, right? Wrong. MarineLord upset that, but ShoWTimE looked really good against Hellraiser, and then comes in and cleans house against MarineLord. I think a little bit of it is just kind of the mental game. MarineLord, of course, had the worst side of both his builds. Both games he tried something, he gets scouted and just doesn't work, and then he dies. But that sets up MarineLord versus Raynor, which was an amazing series earlier, and I can't wait.
That'll be coming up after the break. We'll be right back.